Hello, everybody. Oh, Lydia, they're coming in, which is great. We're getting a whole flood of people jumping into the room. Hi, this is Sheri Flasch with the Esthetician Connection. We are going to, oh, wow, we're already over 100 people. We are getting ready to do a presentation with Lydia Sarfati with Repêchage, and she's going to be doing an amazing educational presentation on barrier dysfunction and inflammation. And we're going to have, oh wow, Lydia, we have over 200 people in the webinar already. So yay, everybody. I'm so glad you came on for education. We're doing a presentation today, if you just came on, with Lydia Sarfati and Repêchage, and we're doing this presentation on barrier disruption and inflammation. One of the things that we want to keep in mind is that we have so many people coming into this presentation, so you can type in questions, but we're going to do the presentation first, then we're going to do some of the questions at the end. And of course, if you've done any EC webinars before, you know that we're going to have a really fun giveaway. And then Repêchage has generously put together an awesome promotion if you are interested in trying some of their new Hydrodew Pure and Kanzawan. And we'll talk about that later, but let me just show you something real quick. And Lydia, we got to make sure that you touch on this at some point. One of you lucky winners is going to get a full size, and I'm going to pull this up, Repêchage Hydrodew Pure and their new Kanza massage wand. Isn't this awesome? You've seen me post on the page before with this. This is amazing, and this is something you can do on yourself while you're home in quarantine. It's going to be very relaxing to you. It's going to be hydrating if you're kind of massaging in certain serums. Then when you go back to your practice, take this in, implement it. Your clients are going to welcome this treatment. So one of you is going to win this. And if you don't win, that's okay. We're going to have a killer sale. So how do you enter to win? What you want to do is take a photo of you taking Lydia's class and post it on the Esthetician Connection Facebook page. You want to make sure that you share what you're thinking of the class, how much you're enjoying it. Use the hashtag ECLovesRepêchage. And that's how I'm going to look. I'm going to be looking for those hashtags when I pick a winner. So post a photo of you taking this webinar, use the hashtag ECLovesRepêchage, and one of you is going to get this amazing Kanzawan and full-size Hydrodew Pure. So that's just some of the housekeeping I had to do before we get started. Lydia, I cannot thank you enough for coming on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're thrilled to have you. I'm looking forward to this class. I want to turn this over to you and let the learning begin.
Well, thank you so much, Sheri. It is really an honor and a pleasure to be here with you and with your Esthetician Connection members. You just have an amazing platform, and you are so giving and so generous and so connected to our industry. I couldn't be happier to be here. And also, I just want to mention that Sheri Flasch has become a board member of the CIDESCO section USA. She's the membership director, and I couldn't be happier to have you on board to help with the CIDESCO section USA. So Sheri, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're just wonderful, beautiful on the inside as well as on the outside. Such a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, Amber, we are going to let you and Lydia do this. I'm going to close out on my screen. There you go.
Okay, well, welcome. And today's presentation is about barrier disruption and understanding skin inflammation, which is different than inflammation, and I will explain that to you shortly. But before we go there, I would like to take a second to introduce myself formally to those perhaps that don't know about me or about Repêchage.
Lydia Sarfati is the founder and CEO of Repêchage, the first company to bring seaweed-based skincare treatments and cosmetics to the U.S. Sarfati is an international industry leader with over 4 decades of experience as an esthetician, spa owner, manufacturer, and published author. She has been featured and quoted in Vogue, In Style, and the New York Times. and appeared on the Today Show and Good Morning America. Lydia revolutionized the beauty industry in 1980 with the launch of the Repêchage 4-layer facial, named the Facial of the Century by Cosmopolitan UK. Sarfati works with her R&D team to develop the highest quality skincare and cosmetics. The core of Repêchage products are based on the most nutrient-rich source of sustainably harvested seaweed. Repêchage is a family-owned and run business. Together with David and Sheri, the Sarfatis celebrate 40 years of award-winning professional treatments and products. Lydia has been recognized around the world, including the Chevalerie Knight Award by Intercoiffeur Mondial and the prestigious 2019 CIDESCO Médaille du Mérite Award, the world's major international beauty therapy association, for her work in bringing this high level of education standards to the United States. Today, Lydia continues to bring her passion, expertise, and excellence to the beauty industry.
So welcome. I'm Lydia Sarfati, and I couldn't be happier to be here this afternoon with you. Repêchage is an ISO manufacturer. We are located in Secaucus, New Jersey. All of the Repêchage skincare products are proudly made in the USA. ISO certification 9001, 2015 indicates that we follow the highest manufacturing standards of operation. So we get certified by an independent DECRA associates, certifying that what we do is really excellent, from research and development, from compounding, to manufacturing, to shipping, to education and customer service. We stand behind what we do 100%. Repêchage is also a CIDESCO associate member. And that's very important to us because as a president of CIDESCO Section USA, I am very proud to be an associate member of CIDESCO Section. Every manufacturer should become an associate member of CIDESCO because it shows the world that you uphold high professional standards. What is important for this particular seminar and for this particular topic is understanding skin sensitivity and understanding what are the key ingredients in the Repêchage range of products that will help to provide excellent treatment, excellent at-home care, and excellent results. So the key are, of course, seaweeds. In 1980, when I first introduced seaweed skincare products in the USA, everyone would kind of go like a genie with their nose and go, ooh, why seaweed? What is it? But I understood back then, in 1977, when I've opened my very first skincare center and a spa in Manhattan, you know that back in the 70s, there was not even such thing as an esthetician license in the United States. So when I would say I'm an esthetician, people thought, because I had a bit heavier accent back then, that I was saying an osteologist and putting people to sleep. And I would say, although I do put people to sleep, but without the needles. So we certainly have come a long way in our profession. And I understood back then that what will be important to sustain health and beauty of the skin is to find a raw material that will be superb and better than anything else we have known up to date. My research have led me back then to the Brittany coast of France, where seaweed has been harvested for centuries and used in agriculture and pharmaceutical. I looked at it and I said, well, why not skincare? If that's what it does to the earth to fertilize and biostimulate and improve the vegetables and the fruits, why would this not do the same for the skin? Diving in literally into the research of the benefits of seawater and seaweed, I discovered that back then in the 18th century, a French biologist, René Quinton, has proven that actually human white cells can survive in seawater while they die in all other environment. Why? Think about it. Billions of years ago, we came all from the sea. The first living cell was a micronutrient of seaweed coming from the sea. Why is that so important? Why this affinity of our human skin to that of seawater and seaweed? Simply looking at the biology of the seaweed, it contains 18 amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein, 12 vitamins, 42 trace elements and minerals, phytohormones, phytotenins, and polysaccharides. And you know, many people in Asia, especially the Japanese, their diet consists of seaweed. In fact, minimum 30 grams of seaweed per day. So think about it. What a beautiful nutrient that suffers from no deficiency, and how wonderful it is, not only for your inside, but as well as the outside. Skin is the largest organ that we have, as you know. So the miracle from the sea will create hydrating, moisturizing effects on the skin, and will diminish the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles without damaging the skin surface. All of the Repêchage seaweed is wild harvested. In fact, this very handsome person, his name is Micah, and he's one of our harvesters of the coast of Maine, because today we actually harvest seaweed in the United States. Just a footnote, there are over 40,000 different seaweeds worldwide. Repêchage has over 12 different types of seaweeds that we work with. But our main event is always Laminaria digitata and Ascophyllum nodosum. In fact, due to this wonderful person, Professor Charles Yarish, who has helped us locate the beautiful Ascophyllum nodosum and Laminaria digitata wild harvest beds right here off the coast of Maine. So all of the Repêchage seaweed products are made in the USA. The difference, like not many companies today in USA, they don't really make their own stuff, as you know. We at Repêchage make everything right here under one roof. In fact, when this pandemic is over, I welcome all of you to come and visit our chocolate factory, except it's not chocolate, it's seaweed. And you will love to see how things are made, whether we make creams or wax or lotions or serum, or we are brewing fresh seaweed. You will be excited to see how it is really made. So what happens with compromised skin? That's today's topic. With compromised skin, the skin becomes super sensitive and very easy loses the moisture content. And you know, in order to have beautifully healthy, hydrated skin with literally no appearance of lines or wrinkles, we need to hold on to our vital moisture within the stratum corneum. When skin is compromised, we lose that moisture rather rapidly. So what do we do in the world of aesthetics? And as an esthetician for almost 50 years, I know I don't look it, started when I was 2, a very like genius child that was doing facials. I'm kidding. But I have seen really great changes over the decades in skincare. And some of them are wonderful, the ability of technology, the ability of developing new ingredients that have great impact on the appearance of the skin, to not so great with retinoic acids that were first developed by Albert Kligman, that's supposed to be the, you know, the miracle of youth, really have caused a lot of damage and barrier disruption. Aggressive peels, utilizing very low pH of the product or the formula. Vacuum suction devices that disrupt the barrier and cause very often broken or dilated blood vessels. Microneedling and dermaplaning. Many of the estheticians engage in these services thinking that there is no other alternative to make the client's skin look beautiful, healthy, gorgeous, and wrinkle-free. I am here to tell you that there is an alternative. And when especially you are dealing with a very sensitive skin, I will share with you the right protocols. We have to understand that all skin's affected by reactive oxygen species. However, when you're on Fitzpatrick scale 1 or 2, or even when you have cystic acne, you may have an inflammation that is caused by smoking, sun exposure, chemicals, and also inflammation that comes from your gut. So what we eat certainly has an impact on our healthy skin very much. Air pollution, of course, the ambient particulate matter is really detrimental. That is known as the common pollution. So when we go out there, we need to protect the skin. We need to build on the barrier. And I will talk about it a little bit later in my presentation, because there are many things that we can do to dress the skin. And very often, we very quickly and very rapidly are ready to undress the skin, but we forget to dress it up and leave that skin naked without any barrier protection. So compromised skin will be actually aging faster. It will definitely develop a different type of skin conditions, whether it is constant inflammation, whether it is itching, whether it is small, tiny papule eruptions. Very often the client will come in, and what I hear, even yesterday I was doing a consultation for a consumer who said, you know, anything I put on my skin, I feel a burning sensation. Putting sometimes water on the skin causes a burning sensation. So we need to make sure that what we do as estheticians, very important. Number 1, do no harm. Number 2, provide wonderful results for your clients. So how do we know how to do that? How do we know how to provide these wonderful results? You know, Sheri is a CIDESCO diplomat. And one of the most important things as an esthetician that you can do is to increase your knowledge about skin histology. In-depth knowledge of the skin will help you understand what is right and what is wrong during your treatment, during your protocol. You also need to learn, I don't want you to be chemists if you don't want to be, but you certainly need to know about ingredients, and not everything that you read and Google is right, okay? So we need to know that there is a lot of what? Fake news out there. And every Monday you wake up, there is another fake news that's circulating all around. So knowledge and scientific knowledge is very important. You know, when I had my first skincare center in Manhattan that I've opened in 1977, which was recession, inflation. We all were, you know, literally moving out of Manhattan. The town was the ghost town, similar to what it is today. But yet my business thrived back then. You know why? Because every treatment we started was with consultation. I had the skin chart on. Of course, there was no computers, but we had the big chart on the wall. And we taught our clients about the function of the skin. And why we did that? Because I strongly believe an educated consumer is our best consumer. We show them where is the sebaceous gland, what makes blackheads, where is the epidermis, where is the dermis, where is the collagen. So they could understand that putting on collagen cream on their face will do absolutely nothing for them. You see, educated consumer will be your consumer for life. Tell the truth. In fact, one of my first booklets I have written was called The Truth About Skincare. And I talked about the myths and facts in it. So when I've opened the spa in 1977, everyone have said to me, because back then women in business was quite a rare situation, everyone have said to me, Lydia, you're so nice, so sorry, you'll be out of business by January. Well, I have to tell you that by January of 78, not only we were not out of business, but we were thriving. And my spa with 8 treatment rooms was fully booked. And the first year we did over 20,000 treatments. Ouch, my carpal tunnel. And I did have a surgery to fix that later. But I myself would do close to 20 facials a day, not a week, a day, ladies. I worked in 3 rooms running around. So yes, education, knowledge, skills is what creates a real true success. One of the new things that is being spoken about a lot, especially in Europe, and I'm sure here as well, is called inflammaging. Not inflammation, but inflammaging. So what does it show? That basically there are circulating pro-inflammatory cytokine levels in chronically aged humans. This is the pilot program that was done and reported on. So what are some of those things? Those things are basically sugars. Sugars will definitely be a very strong contributing factor to the function of our cells, to the function of our healthy body. Very important. The study from the Department of Dermatology have also discovered that sugar is a major contributor to deterioration of health, beauty, and also may lead into some other more serious diseases. So the common characteristics of skin aging factors is the ability to induce or maintain pro-inflammatory changes and triggers a local inflammatory response, which throughout the subsequent immune responses, such as pro-inflammatory cytokine production, contributes to the structural changes that we can observe in the skin. So sugar is your #1 enemy, remember that. Why? Because it binds itself into protein molecules and into lipid molecules. And this creates inflammation in the skin and inflammation in the body. So this study is also very, very important in understanding that we must retain the barrier. You will see that decade from now, we will be looking, where can we find the skin to put it back on? Because we have focused for 2 decades of let's take it off, let's take it off, let's take it all off. It's not a good idea. because the more peels you do on your skin, the more actually you're causing inflammation and you are causing the skin deterioration, because exposure to UV light will then be much more damaging. So we at Repêchage believe in providing the skin with great results, retaining the barrier, providing the right treatment, but most importantly, to never harm the skin. And these are the best ingredients that we have. We spoke already about seaweed, but Laminaria digitata is my star seaweed in all of the Repêchage skincare products. The polysaccharides such as alginic acid really truly help to block the moisture in the skin. And among marine resources, it is also one of the richest sources of fluorotenins, sulfated polysaccharides, fucostrol, and fucosins. Those are the most important elements for retention of skin health and skin barrier. Ascophyllum nodosum is some of the plants, and as you have to know, that seaweed plants, when sustainably harvested, can have more than 60 years of age. So what happens to that plant, because it has no roots, and the entire body of seaweed, it's called thallus. Basically, the harvesters will cut at a certain point the seaweed and take only what they need so the seaweed can continue to regrow. So most fantastic, sustainably harvested plant that suffers from no deficiency. Sodium hyaluronate, you know, there was a lot of talk in the 80s about hyaluronic acid. And back then, it was derived from the rooster combs. But today, of course, we can derive hyaluronic acid from many other sources. Some of them sugar beets or sugar cane, and it is wonderful, hydrating skincare ingredient. This is new, and actually already Sheri have said that's one of her favorites. This Hydra Dew Pure Oil has a beautiful oil called mastic oil. And this comes from Chios, Greece. It's an island. And it has a wonderful, wonderful restoring, hydrating barrier of the skin. In fact, we have had some of our employees that has undergoing radiation for breast cancer is using this oil on her skin, and it is wonderful how soothing and calming and how greatly it helps with preventing the burns in the skin. So it's fragrance-free. Beside the mastic oil, there are other wonderful ingredients in it. I just love, love, love the natural essence, the natural smell of it. So the other ingredient in the mastic, in the Hydra Pure oil, is Camellia japonica seed oil. It also has sunflower seed oil and sweet almond oil, vitamin E, of course we know, but the cephyrol acetate is the correct vitamin E that helps also the skin with the sun's harmful UV light. One of my favorite oils to use is an organic olive leaf oil and olive fruit oil. It is great. It helps with wonderful emolliency. And shea butter coming from West Africa, from a tree called karité tree. And we use this in many of our products, but also we use it in our Sea Spa hand cream. And everyone is washing their hands a lot now. So I definitely recommend the Repêchage Sea Spa hand cream for it. The safflower seed oil, the additional ingredients that we use: aloe vera juice powder, oat bran, chamomilla, Codium tomentosum seaweed extracts. That's another beautiful seaweed. Capahacus alvarezi extracts, Calcipina spinosa fruit extracts are great for lifting and smoothing the skin, again, without damaging the barrier. Mango seed butter, water lily extract, and wonderful extracts from many different plants that we use. So when you look at the ingredients that Repêchage uses, you also have to know that every product we make undergoes what we refer to as an RIP test, repeat insult patch test, that is done on 50 people to check for what? Any kind of irritation or redness. I'm happy to report to you that most of the products we make have zero intolerance, and that's really great. In addition to the RIP test, of course, we do testing, microbiological testing, to see that the preservative that is used is sustaining the repeat usage. And one of the great things with the Repêchage professional facials is that it's everything wonderfully single dose application for professional use. So there is no cross-contamination. The things that you will need to create this facial are many different things. Of course, your supplies, your cotton, your cancer wand, the products. You will, of course, have this list as the entire webinar will be sent to you for those of you who are not able to attend. Now, more than ever, when we will return to whatever normal is, sanitation and facial room setup will be a key important element. Always you should clean, but we should understand today that it has to be taken, cleaning, sanitation, and sterilization has to be taken to a whole other level. You know, one of the things that made my spa a huge success was the fact that people would come in and say, Lydia, it's so clean, we can eat it off your floor. And indeed, they could. You know, back then, we could not afford a cleaning service. I would come in early in the morning with my team, and believe me, I was on my knees, scrubbing the floors clean, ironing the sheets, making sure that absolutely everything is spick and span. So not only did it smell clean, but indeed it was clean. Remember that your facial room, once you return to work, needs to say that immediately. This is spick and span clean. The most important part of any facial is consultation. And consultation is very important. This is your opportunity to ask clients questions. Don't just talk, ask. Ask about their concerns. What are your concerns today with your skin should be the question. Listen carefully. We have 2 ears and 1 pair of lips or mouth. Listen twice as much as you're going to speak. Because when you truly listen to the concerns of your client, you will be able to create the perfect protocol, and you will understand what is that the client wants and needs, and you will deliver it beautifully. Skin analysis. You're going to look at the skin through the magnifying lamp. Always you're going to wear a mask and gloves. You will analyze the skin correctly, and then you're going to do the consultation. When you do the consultation, you're going to stand in the front of the client. Don't talk to the back of the head. Always when you talk to the client, talk to the pair of eyes, because they need to see you, they need to feel you, they need to understand what is that you are saying. Because very often you put a headband, Then you're standing behind the client's head and talking to them. Most of the time, they don't even know what you are saying. So it's very important, the proper etiquette when you're doing the consultation. The treatment protocol, we're going to cleanse the skin with a non-oily cleanser. We're going to use a very gentle cleanser, hydrophoric creamy cleanser, that we're going to apply it with very light circular motions. We're then going to use a very gentle exfoliator. This is called Rapidex. The pH is 3.5, and the total percentage of marine hydroxy and alpha hydroxy acid is 8%. So it's gentle yet effective in providing desquamation. Remember, we're not peeling, we're desquamating. After the desquamation, we're going to use a pulverizer. I don't like to use hot steam on a sensitive skin. It is contraindication. So the Lucas Pulverizer Champignon is a perfect choice because it's going to purify the skin, hydrate the skin, and calm the skin, okay? We're going to then provide a client with a brilliant massage, and we're going to use for this purpose Hydrodew Pure Oil, Laminaria digitata, mastic oil, wonderful seed oil. We already talked about all the ingredients. It's going to feel wonderful. You will need about 10 drops for a facial massage. And on a sensitive skin, although we have learned all 5 steps, but on sensitive skin, we're only going to use effleurage method. And you're going to get a full diagram of the effleurage method of how to do it. We also have those in videos. So you're going to provide a beautiful effleurage massage. After the effleurage massage, we're going to apply a sheet mask, and we're going to use a red out sheet mask, which is designed for sensitive skin. For someone less sensitive, we could also use the Lamina mask as well. Either or will work really well for hydration purposes. You can also apply eye rescue pads on the eye area, and then you're going to proceed with the Kanza wand massage. So you're going to use the Kanza wand. You could also use the Kanza wand over the oil as well. So you could use it twice. I like to do first a little bit of a touch with the hands and then using the Kanza wands over the sheet mask. You could also use the Kanza wands on the hands, especially for pianists, massage therapists, and facialists. Carpal tunnel syndrome is always a big issue, and this feels really, really fantastic. So the Kanza wand is a wonderful tool, and you will love using it a lot, okay? And here is a diagram of how you use it. I love it, and people really, truly love using the Kanza wand. I always like to do it over the earlobes, behind, also on the platysma muscle, in the back on the trapezius muscle. That feels really fantastic, especially, you know, now we are all stressed out. You could also use the Kanza wand at the soles of the feet. It really feels invigorating and at the same time, very relaxing. So you would get all of this information. During the masking, I always love to do a hand massage. We try not to leave the client alone. After the mask removal, we would tone the skin with the Hydrophor toner and apply a face shield. The face shield, it's a mineral face shield with zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. So it's going to protect skin and create kind of invisible barrier. And here's the big thing, makeup. People are always telling me, Lydia, but we learned in school never to apply makeup. And I said, but why? We have just given the client a beautiful facial. And, you know, I knew that when I first started my business in 1977, Women were just getting back to work, to the workforce. And they would come and say, oh, Lydia, I don't want to have a facial. I'm here for a manicure because I got to get back to work. And I would say, but why? You can have a facial and we will do a beautiful finishing touches and you will be able to get to work and look gorgeous and glowing. So this is why I have learned back in the 70s, never let your client leave without dress. And makeup is a dress. It's a good quality makeup, again, like Repêchage, for example, that's based on seaweed. There's nothing bad in it. It gives you that barrier. It protects your skin and it makes the client feel and look beautiful. We always show the client a mirror after the facial when they are still in the facial room. That's one of the mistakes that many estheticians do. They just go, how was it? Great. Mwah, mwah. See you later. What's later? Never do that. You can kiss them, you can hug them when, of course, this pandemic will go away, but you always want to show them your work. You need to tell them what you did, especially remember what were their concerns, so address those, show them the mirror, show them how beautiful they look, and then tell them about at-home care. You know, being in Manhattan with my business for 3 decades, I have to tell you one thing I have learned early on. You must recommend at-home care products. And the reason why I've learned that if you don't, they will go out and go to a store and buy whatever the cosmetic counter girls are going to recommend them. You've worked hard, you did an hour facial, and you sweating, your back hurts, your hands hurt, and they leave just paying you with a facial. Never, never, never do that, okay? Work not only hard, but work smart. That has been my motto in my business. Yes, we're working hard, but we want to work smart. You know how I know they're going to go and buy products somewhere else? Because the retail industry is in the billions of dollars, not millions, billions. So it is our professional duty to recommend products for at home. And here we have a beautiful red out cleanser with microsilver for sensitive skin, beautiful red out serum that will reduce inflammation, redness, and will have beautiful results for calming and soothing. This product can also be used on a client with stage 4 acne that has redness associated with acne vulgaris as well. The soothing sheet mask is marvelous and can be used anytime, as well as the Hydro 4 cleanser with seaweed that's creamy. I kind of like to use both. I love using my creamy cleanser, Hydro 4 cleanser at night to remove the makeup. And then in the morning, I use the red out cleanser. It's washable. You can do it in the shower or bath. Follow up with the Hydro 4 tonic, and that has 4 different seaweeds. And then apply a Hydro 4 moisturizing cream with 4 seaweeds in it. Now, to learn more about many different things, whether it is about business or protocol or science, I have written these books, and I also was a contributing editor to the Aesthetic Standard book by Lydia. So the new 2019 book, I have written 4 chapters addressing the important issues such as massage, treatment protocols, room setup, and many other. So also learn with me anytime, every time, when you go to edulearningwithlydia.com. So now we have a beautiful giveaway, and that giveaway is, again, Hydro Dew Pure Oil and the Kanza wand. Retail value is actually $240, and salon cost is $120. And we have a very special offer, just special for Esthetician Connection. It's $99. So you are saving $21 and you're going to get free shipping as well. So those of you who don't win, you can still partake in this beautiful offer. And make sure that you mention EC. It is for Esthetician Connection members only. So I hope that you're going to take advantage of that. So I thank you, and we have 15 minutes that is left for Q&A. So we're now going to welcome all participants to ask questions from this particular webinar or any questions that you may have.
All right, Lydia, I do have some questions here. Can you hear me all right?
Sure.
Fantastic. So Andy Stevenson wants to know, are the products gluten-free?
You know, I have Crohn's for many, many years, and I have gluten intolerance, and I can tell you that they are gluten-free.
Okay.
Everything I make for myself, but I'm very selfish.
A similar question from Shala. Are your products made in a gluten-free environment? But I suppose the answer is yes, since you have a gluten intolerance as well. Moving on.
We don't bake bread here.
Here's a good question from Melissa.
Yes.
Is the mastia a resin?
Mastia oil is coming from a tree in Greece, and it has been used medicinally for many different purposes. We use a form of mastia that's an oil and also water. We use both. We use mastia water and mastia oil.
Okay. Let's see. Zen Lipscomb, hopefully I didn't butcher that, wants to know, what types of preservatives do you use?
Well, all Repêchage products are paraben-free, so we don't use methyl paraben or propylene paraben. And depending on the particular product, we use very excellent preservatives. For example, the Hydro-Dew Pure Oil has no preservatives at all because it's an oil form. But when you make an emulsion and when you make a water-based product, you must preserve it. Otherwise, it will be contaminated.
Okay. Maria Sanchez asks, on the wand, if I purchase it, does it come with a protocol on how to use it?
Yes, it does. The wand will come with step-by-step protocols of how to use it correctly, how to sanitize it, and how to reuse it. So you will have a complete protocol that will be accompanied your purchase.
Okay. And does that wand come as a single or as a set?
No, it comes only as a one wand.
Okay. Jade Anderson asks, says, I remember Sheri mentioning something about the copper. Can you elaborate that in the wand?
So it's non-lead copper. This is how cancer wands are made. This one is made in India by hand.
Okay.
And the non-lead copper is believed to have very healing and calming properties.
Okay. Let's see. We've got an anonymous attendee asks, Miss Lydia, how did you start mentally building your vision into a lifestyle?
Mentally building my vision into a lifestyle. I'm going to tell you what, you can read my book.
There you go. That's the answer.
Success at your fingertips. And you know, I come from Poland. I was born in a communist country. I came to United States in 1970. And I realized very often that when life gives you lemons, you can make a lemonade, or you can go through life complaining about everything and everyone. I chose to make lemonade with lots of honey. Always look at things in positive way. And that's something I have learned also from my parents. And I think that when we look at, look, today we are in a horrible situation. Everyone is depressed. Everyone has anxiety. But we need to look at positivity. Maybe the world is telling us something. Maybe the earth is telling us something. Be kinder, be nicer to each other, be more loving. Maybe we all need to spend more time alone because everyone has been on a fast track, on a bullet train, and really going through life like a rocket. In my case, I took what was bad and made what was good. And as I'm doing today, we are in a terrible situation, but I'm turning the terrible situation into positivity. I'm providing webinars, just like this one here with the Esthetician Connection, but also every day I'm teaching, and I'm teaching estheticians.
Okay. Here's a question from Isabel Keegan. Lydia, do you always use Dr. Lucas pulverizer, hopefully I didn't mangle that, during your facials, or only for compromised skin?
I use it only for compromised skin. Okay. It's very calming, it's very soothing, and it's very hydrating. I do not use hot steam on sensitive skin, and I don't recommend anyone to use a hot towel or rough sponges on sensitive skin as well.
Okay. Lauren asks, do you recommend products to be stored on the shelf or in the fridge?
You don't need to store products in the refrigerator. Repêchage products are tested for longevity at 50 degrees centigrade. This is what it's called, basically, product package test. So the product must survive at 50 degrees for 2 years. And that's when you know you have longevity and a correct product made. If your product is falling apart after a month that you have purchased, that product was not well made, and that product was not tested for its longevity.
Okay. Now we have a lot of people that are very interested in admiring of your skin, and they would like to know which products of yours do you use the most, and what do you use on yourself personally?
That's always $1 million question. So, so here's what I do. I will share with you. I use my peptide serum. I use it twice a day, and thank you to the Esthetician Connection members. This is no Botox, no Restylane, nothing. This is just Lydia, okay? Okay, I'm lying, not just Lydia, peptides and Repêchage Seaweed. So I'm using the peptide serum twice a day, morning and night, and I put it all over the face, neck, around the eye area. And every other day I take a bath and I use the sheet mask, which has actually the same formula as the serum, and I leave it on for 20 minutes while I'm bathing. Then of course I use the eye cream, the eye contour cream, that is wonderful because it diminishes dark circles and puffiness. And you know, I must admit I was crying a bit when all of it happened. So to the rescue were my eye rescue pads. And when I put on the eye rescue pads, I used my little silver ball massager, that it's really wonderful because it stays cold.
Oh, that looks really comfortable too.
It's really wonderful. And I just use it at night and in the morning. So instead of putting the eye cream with my fingertips, now I'm sure we all have short nails because the nail salons are closed, but sometimes ladies have really long nails and you can get really close to the eye contour. So I use this wonderful silver ball massager that we make as well.
Okay.
So these are my basic go-to. Then I use, of course, the Hydro 4 cleanser. I love it because I can remove my makeup with it as well. And, you know, previous months I was traveling a lot on business. So it was just having to take one product with me was really important.
Okay. Amanda asks, what is the purpose of the silver and the red out products?
Excellent question, Amanda. So the purpose of the silver is actually, it's been tested, it's organic, it comes from Germany, and it is against bacteria. So it's wonderful against Demonex, against any kind of antibacterial property. In Europe, we use a lot of microsilver and silver in treatment even of teeth, gingivitis, with it's in the toothpaste, it's in toners, it's in moisturizers. So it's a very well-known ingredient that has been used in Europe for quite some time. I introduced it about 5 years ago when we launched the Red Out treatment and facial.
Okay. Everybody is very interested in the Kanza wand. I've got several people asking, does it provide some lymphatic drainage?
Well, sure, because what you can do, especially when you're looking at the lymph nodes that are located under the mandible area right here in the platysma, because on the lymph node you want to go, especially when you put the wonderful oil, the pure oil, you're going to go downwards, and then you can do a bit of a pumping motion as well. So you can do a little pumping motion, light effleurage, always going downwards, going towards the heart. You have a lot of lymph nodes around the earlobe area as well. So you can do a little pumping motion as well. You can do it on the earlobe and in the front and around. You also have the lymph nodes around the occipital area in the back, and then through the platysma muscle, deep cervical area as well. So this could be utilized as your tool for lymphatic drainage as well.
Okay. And Barbara wants to know, do you use the wand just as back bar, or do you recommend retailing?
You know, I have to tell you something, especially during this period, pandemic, I always love clients who come back to us. But, you know, I'm getting a lot of consumer calls. They say, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I can't go and see an esthetician. So definitely you can recommend for them to use either the silver ball massager or the Kanza wand, and to give them self-massage, to give family members massage. Like I've said, you can use it on the sole of your foot, you can use it on your hand or on your face, in the back, especially the trapezius muscle that is very tight due to the stress. So during this time, I would say absolutely teach your clients how to take care of their skin at home.
Okay. And Patty wants to know, would the Hydra Dew Oil be great for estheticians with an oncology certification to use with this type of clients?
Yes, actually, yes. And yes, I have written with Maura Karen a book called Oncology Aesthetics.
Okay.
And we actually recommend here the Hydra Dew Pure Oil with a Kanza One massage as well. Maura has dedicated her life into oncology aesthetics, and I was introduced to her by one of my estheticians from Italy, Signora Angela Noviello, and we collaborated on this book. So it's really a wonderful tool for estheticians who have the certification in dealing with patients undergoing chemotherapy and radiation.
Okay. Shelby asks, if I have a client who can't afford the whole line at once, what is the main or best product they should have first?
Well, darling, that really depends on what are their main concerns. So this is why I always said, ask the client what their main concerns. If their main concerns are redness and irritation, I would recommend, of course, for them to start with a Red Out serum. okay? Now, if their main concerns are, you know, just overall tightness and dryness, I would say, okay, for this purpose, you can use the Hydra 4 moisturizer. So it really take always what they say to you. These are my main concerns, so this is my main concern, and then recommend the product that is going to give them the best results for their concern. So always that's how I do it.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Patty asks, any particular product Lydia can recommend for estheticians who have on their back bar to help healthcare workers restore their disrupted skin barrier after all of this is over? Or maybe a product we could recommend for them to use during this time?
Yes. So the disruptive barrier for many of the health professionals will be because they're using a lot of hand washing, sanitizing. So the redness on the hands, I would recommend, like I have said earlier, the Repêchage Sea Spa hand cream with actually the shea butter and lavender essential oils. For more severe cases, let's recommend for them as well the Hydra Dew Pure Oil as well. We at Repêchage actually got a mandate, and we are producing hand sanitizers with 80% alcohol, which will be donating to the local police and hospital here in Secaucus, New Jersey. We're producing it as we speak. So we try to do our part for the community.
Okay, and one last thing before I hand it back over to Sheri. Levi, your grandson, is watching and wants you to say happy birthday, Levi.
Levi, I adore you. He's a Harry Potter fan. So he has everything Harry Potter. And what he really wanted was a Harry Potter suitcase so he can go to London. But I said to him, at $350, darling, we have to wait until you actually can go to London when you would be able to travel. So Levi, happy birthday. You're 6, you're beautiful, and you're wonderful.
Happy birthday, Levi. That's so awesome. So many of my questions were answered. The page members were so good about asking things. I guess
whenever Woodsy saying that her son is also Levi and he turns 6.
Oh my gosh.
Congratulations. Wow. Happy birthday.
It's a small world. That's awesome.
Levi's.
Happy birthday. Both Levi's. Exactly.
Wonderful. Happy birthday.
What would you tell an esthetician or advise an esthetician if they take this Kanzo on home or they order it and they want to start retailing it to their clients? What are the maybe top 3 selling points? I was actually massaging my foot with it during your webinar because I had not. I was like, oh my gosh, what a great idea. I was like, I'll do that because I've used it on the face, but give them 3. So a client says, okay, why should I take this home with me? What would the 3 top selling points be for that person?
Right. So my number 1 selling point is, you know, Sheri, I've been married 48 years to the same man. And one of our secrets is a foot massage.
There you go. Yes.
There you have it.
Trust me, I'm going to have to show my husband next time we watch a movie.
Right. So this is a wonderful, wonderful, intimate and friendly and caring and loving. You know, it's just foot massage, a glass of champagne during the stressful time. There you have it. But also to use the Kanzo wands on daily basis, because one of the reasons I see very often, and I'm sure you have seen in your practice as well, is when people really don't know how to use or how to apply moisturizers the right way. So very often, especially men or women, they take the cream and they go, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, stop it. Don't do that. So it always petrified me looking at how they applied the moisturizer. So the Kanzo wand could be used for application of a moisturizer, and we're going to give them actually you know, just, you know, beautiful, beautiful massage. So it gets applied in the right way. It has nice touch, nice feeling, and they are not being abrasive of using the tactiles, you know, the pressure is very important. And the third is that it's very healing. I don't know really why, but that copper coming from India, from the ancient area of where they make and produce the copper, has somewhat of just calming and very healing and very restorative things. I had a question here from one of the panelists that said they want to buy the oncology book. So of course they can.
Absolutely. No, and it's a good idea too. I think that all those are very important, making sure that, you know, your clients know they can use these to massage products in. They can use it for multiple body areas. They can do their feet, they can do their face, they can work on the mandible, maybe on the shoulder area. So that's kind of really cool. And then the healing properties. So you can't discount that benefit. So there's tons of selling points on this as well. One of the things I want to do, because we went through your presentation and we have a little bit of time, and we didn't really talk about doing this, but I would love to share a little bit about CIDESCO with the people watching. We have time. And I know that there's a lot of things in the works, and we're working on some initiatives to really share with the United States estheticians and bring them more into the CIDESCO platform. Would you mind sharing with them some of the first things that are going to roll out? So we get that question on the page so often. Should I become a CIDESCO? How do I become a CIDESCO? Why should I become a CIDESCO? And, you know, we're always kind of referring them to links and places, but hearing it from you, I think would be really important. And I know that there's a lot of estheticians watching that would like to know.
Well, Sheri, thank you so much. And now that you are on the board, and I'm so honored and so pleased to have you. I was and still am a president of CIDESCO Section USA, believe it or not, since 2005. And CIDESCO stands for Comité International d'Esthétique et Cosmétologie. It was born in Belgium with a headquarters now in Zurich. It's over 70 years old organization. And the purpose of the organization was to create, develop, establish the highest standard of education and skills for beauty therapists worldwide. Today, CIDESCO diplomat, like you are, have this opportunity to achieve this diploma in over 40 countries. But one of the stumbling blocks in United States have been for more than 40 years that we have a license. I talked about that we didn't have a license before, but then when we rolled out licenses, the state mandated and dictated how many hours you should have in order to receive your esthetician license. Well, the CIDESCO diploma requires 1,800 hours of education, where most of the states require 720 or 640. So there was no alignment. The other thing is with the CIDESCO diploma, you are able to do and you study all therapy, body therapy, nails, manicure, pedicure, lash tinting, brow tinting, body treatments. So again, it did not align with our state regulations and state laws. So for 4 decades, CIDESCO really was kind of in a limbo in United States. My whole objective was to have the world, because you have to have all delegates vote on a CIDESCO certificate program versus just the CIDESCO diploma. So we now have in United States, due to my persistence and tenacity and being a real royal pain in the neck, we now have also in USA a CIDESCO certificate program, which is aligned with the CIDESCO requirement for skincare, but also aligned with the hours that are required in USA. And the first school that came on board with the CIDESCO certificate program was Bellis Academy. They have 5 campuses out in California and in Kansas, and also Pivot Point School in Illinois. So what is our objective? Our long-term objective is the CIDESCO certificate schools in United States will be able to offer this program. My second objective, with your help and Linnell's help, is to have current esthetician undergo just examination and to have them be certified with a CIDESCO certificate. My long-term goal with your help and Linnell's help is kind of when back in the 90s, there was this commercial that said milk is good for you. Now we know the milk is really not that good for you, but the campaign worked. I want to have a campaign now and in the future that says CIDESCO is good for you, because the consumers need to feel safe when they go to the esthetician salon. So I have been certifying salons in United States as a CIDESCO certified salon, which they must comply with certain things of carrying a particular equipment, and also the estheticians undergoing verbal examination. And I was able to do that virtually, again, due to the approval of Zurich. And I have certified already several salons in United States, Oasis Days by Massachusetts, also Kenny White up in Body Sense in where is she, darling? New Hampshire. So we have, my goal would be that consumer can feel safe going to the salon, being in the hands of a certified CIDESCO esthetician. So it's like creating a good seal of approval. You are in good hands. We will do no harm and we will treat you well. So that is kind of my goal with your help, Linnell's help, to achieve this for United States. You know, when I think of Asia, where CIDESCO is doing so well, in India, they have so many members, in China, in Japan, it is just amazing how well CIDESCO is doing in Asia. It started late in the day, but they are ahead of the game of the certification. I believe that with the online certification program and then with the certificate schools, we will be able to really be the leaders in the world, hopefully soon.
Oh, I agree. And I think that the 2 key points on there is estheticians are going to be able to get that certification, even if they've been licensed in their state and gone through those hours, they're going to have access to become certified. And then the other thing, that if I went back into practice, if I stopped doing what I do now, which by the way, I never want to do because I love what I do, but if I ever went back into open a spa again, the first thing on my list would be to be CIDESCO certified. That would be like, I'd want to put that in my window. I'd want to make sure I had that in my advertisements, in the papers, or anywhere where I put it. So I think that spas and salons that are wanting to show that they are a cut above, and that they are the place for the clients to go to for those therapies and cleanliness and all the things that matter. They can get CIDESCO certified spas and salons. And I think that's awesome. You guys are going to see more information on this on the page, on our website. So we've got a meeting tomorrow, so we'll have all sorts of great ideas, but we're going to be bringing this to you guys on a regular basis. And especially now that you're home and you've got time, we'll try to put things up, links and things like that, so you can read more about it and start working on that. So when you go back, you have a plan. So I think that's a good idea. Thank you for sharing that, Lydia. I appreciate that. And I knew they wanted to know that. Amber, do we have any questions on CIDESCO that you want to put out? I haven't looked in the chat yet.
There are several questions. Is CIDESCO certification available in Canada?
Yes, it is. Excellent question. In fact, I have visited just before the whole thing went, in January. I mean, I'm also have to have like my head examined a bit, but on January 15, I went to Calgary. Everybody was asking me why, because it was like minus 50 degrees when I got off the plane, and I have accepted this invitation back in July, so I wasn't probably thinking the right way. But I visited the most beautiful CIDESCO school in Calgary, and the owners are wonderful, and I recommend this school with all my heart. And if you email me, lydia@repechage.com, I will send you the name of the school and where it is exactly. I can't remember all of it.
Okay. Would CIDESCO be a complement to NCEA certification?
Well, I wouldn't say a compliment, because it's not a compliment. CIDESCO is a worldwide recognized certification and school program. NCEA is not. So I would not, it's like comparing apples to oranges. It's not in the same league.
Okay. Will there be a CIDESCO online prep course?
This is what we are working on right now, especially now. We very much believe that building the online course will be the most important thing that we will do for now and the future. And this is one of the topics actually on our board conference call tomorrow that we will discuss.
Well, there's a lot of interest in it. A lot of people are asking about that online course. How many hours does it take? Where can we find it?
Those details are gonna, I think those are going to be rolled out on the page as they solidify that this is all kind of, in the upward trajectory for the United States. It's kind of going to be like a big movement. So the EC is going to be a big part of that. And you guys are going to be updated, included. We're going to be bringing you the information as soon as it's out there and available. We'll actually, I think Amber, and I think we might have started on this, we're probably going to have a resource on the website too. It's not up there yet. We are going to have a resource for CIDESCO on the website as well. So
it is under construction.
You'll have access to all of this.
Wonderful. Well, I mean, look, I've been doing CIDESCO. I've been a chairman and a president for many, many years. And I will tell you with all my heart, sometimes I just wanted to give up because I felt so frustrated. I was like the king of the kingdom that did not exist in America. And, but every time I'm not a quitter. So every time when I felt like, okay, this is it, I pushed myself and said, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to see this through. And we got to have a certification. And I flew to every Congress CIDESCO had worldwide, whether it was India, Sweden, Germany, you name it. I appeared, I tortured the board, I tortured the delegates, and they realized sooner or later that this is the way it has to be. If we're not willing to change, if we're not willing to be relevant, we are just going to disappear. And even with what's going on today with a pandemic, we have to reinvent ourselves. Look what we're doing, these webinars, where normally people would be coming to my academy, or I would be going and being at the trade show and you will be seeing me. Now we're reinventing the way we are teaching. We're using technology to be close to our network, to be close to our community. We can't stay the same. We have to evolve, we have to change. And the most important thing, when people say it cannot be done, you have to say, yes, it can, and do it, and just stay positive.
I agree 100%. And I will tell you, back in, and this will show my age a little bit, but in the early 90s when I was getting ready to enroll in skincare school. I started school, went at night, and what I did during the day was I worked for a beauty distributor. And I was working with their nail division and their skincare division. So I worked for the distributor during the day, and then I went to skincare school at night. Took me a little longer to go through, but one of the representatives that came on the road with me, we would go out, and she was kind of training me on a skincare line. And we would go out to different salons and spas and talk to estheticians. Now I'm in school, so I'm taking lessons to become an esthetician, but I'm meeting all these wonderfully seasoned, I'm sorry, I have a cat behind me. I'm meeting all these wonderfully seasoned estheticians. And when we would leave a salon or a spa, you know, typically we would regroup on what happened. And when this esthetician was extremely impressive, and as my mentor said, she said something, that's a sharp esthetician. I'll never forget that. She used the word sharp. That's a sharp esthetician. She said, the difference is she's a CIDESCO. I didn't know what it meant at the time. All I knew is I wanted to be one. I'm in school. I'm a sales rep. I'm like, oh, I want to be a CIDESCO. And she's like, you know what that is? I'm like, it doesn't matter. If she's one, I want to be one. So I started studying it while I was in school, you know, learning what the criteria was, knowing I wouldn't even be able to start anything till after I had been licensed for many years. So I knew all of that going into it, but I was so focused on becoming a CIDESCO from the time I enrolled in skincare school, because I knew that that was going to be the highest standard that I could have in aesthetics. And I wanted that for my career. I wanted that for my clients. I wanted it for wherever I went in business. So it was something in the forefront right when I got into aesthetics. So thank you very much for bringing it here.
Well, you know, I believe, as you know, for decades and decades, you know, like I was saying in the very beginning, when I started, there was no such thing as an esthetician. And people always said that I said either electrician or an anesthesiologist.
I got that, yeah.
An esthetician. What is that? What do you do? So being really in the front line, because this is exactly what it was, I understood very early on that education is the key. That if you really are serious about what you do, that passion alone is not enough. That you've got to bring to the table skills, knowledge, education, dedication, tenacity, and not be afraid of the hard work. People would say, well, how long did it take you to be successful? A long time. I'm still working on it.
Working on it. No, it's a long time to be an overnight success, right?
Yes, it takes a long time to be an overnight success. That's right. That's right.
Well,
Lydia, Sheri, I have one last question, and
okay.
I'm actually very curious about this myself. Okay. Where did the name Repêchage come from, and what does it mean?
Oh, that's a great question. I love it. So repêchage means second chance. And second chance, when I first thought of the name for the brand, because remember I had my salon in 77 and started developing the skincare treatment and the brand in 1977, late and 8 and 9. One of my most important things was because people would come to me, have a facial, and then they would go somewhere to another esthetician in my salon, and they said, well, I didn't like the way she did it, you know, this wasn't right, that wasn't right. And it was so frustrating that I said, you know, I cannot be the only one in my own salon that does a perfect facial. This is impossible. And I was starting to think about step-by-step facial, putting everything in units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can count to 6, you have to follow the protocol. You have to follow the modality, has to be the same. So this is where it was really first born. And what really pushed me through that edge to make it happen, in 1979, I gave birth to my daughter, Sheri, whom Sheri you've met and you spoke to. I took off for maternity leave. And as I say, the whole salon just fell apart. Nobody liked anything. And I would say, this is ridiculous. So I was really forced myself not to just think about the concept, but to develop it. And I called it Repêchage because it was a second chance, second coming for my business. And also I was pushed by the need of other cosmetologists in the United States that would come to me and say, we want to do what you do. What do we do? And this is how the brand was born. So it's a French name, made in America, but it means second chance. And also it was second chance for my life because many of you probably know I came as a refugee from Poland, and it was a second chance for me as well. So Repêchage is second chance.
Love it. That's awesome. Well, thank you. And I think the class today was, you know, I enjoyed all of it, as I always do. When I'm listening to you, I want to make sure that we remind everyone, if you want to, in case you came in much later and you didn't see some of the beginning, one of you is going to win the Hydra Dew, the new, there you go. It is their pure oil and the new Kanza wand that we have been talking about. This duo, one person is going to win. All you have to do to enter is post on the Esthetician Connection Facebook group page a photo of you taking Lydia's class. Tell us what you think, and make sure you use the hashtag ECLovesRepêchage. And that's what I'm going to use when we're looking for the winners. If you don't win, or if you're just dying to get your hands on this, or you want to put together some home care kits for your clients, because that would be a really good thing to put on their social media. I think they would do well with that. We have a special offer that's going to be on the EC website. We're going to post links in some of the threads on the page. It's only $99, so you're saving $21 and you're getting free shipping, and you will be able to get both of these together. So there'll be a promo for you, and one of you is going to win. So I want to thank everybody for watching Lydia's class, and I want to thank Lydia for doing this. I sincerely appreciate you being here, and I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you so much, Sheri, and thank you, Esthetician Connection. You're a wonderful group. I feel so privileged to be presenting to you, and I hope to see many of you in the future. So thank you. Stay healthy, stay safe, and breathe.
Yes. Bye, Lydia. Thank you.
Bye.